Hey everyone, it's Kathy with the Triangle Net. This is another episode of Journey into Cybersecurity. I have my co host by my side. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
And that is Antonio speaking. And our guest today is
Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony Picarello.
awesome. So let's kick things started. Antonio, you go first.
So, what did you want to be when you were growing up? Originally.
So while growing up, I thought I was gonna be an engineer. Um, that was until I got to around high school, and then that's when I started learning more about computers, and I realized computer science was more likely the route I was going to take.
So, were you introduced to cybersecurity in high school already, or how did you pick up on that?
So my junior year of high school was when I was introduced to cybersecurity. I was in a coding class, and right afterwards, they had a cybersecurity club. Um, and I was like, "Huh, what is this?" I asked my teacher. She's like, "Oh, this is our school cybersecurity club. They do cybersecurity competitions." She described to me a few of the competitions. I said, "Oh, that sounds really cool." I
Yeah.
went home, talked to my dad. My dad's in the not necessarily the security field, but in the information technology field. Um, Kind of helped elaborate, hey, security is a big industry, really like a lot of growth potential. So from there,
That's cool. My high school didn't really offer any of that at all. So,
yeah,
I,
I was about to say, it was just one of those, it was a very new program. So that was
yeah.
like the first year they were doing it. So
Mhm. Yeah, I was about to say, I always knew kind of about cybersecurity because my neighbor, who's a good friend of mine, that's what she did and does. But I didn't really like get into it until like my sophomore year of college, maybe, or maybe end of my freshman year around there. So that's pretty cool. You got started early on.
Yeah.
yeah.
I need to learn more about that because I've been trying to tell high schools that this should be part of their program or they should have a club. I even offered to run a
I was
club.
gonna say,
I
yeah,
started this whole script on my website to help schools develop a program just to get kids introduced to some of the concepts. So how phenomenal that they did that. Let's let's hook up on that a little bit more.
Yeah, I got to actually a few months ago talk to students in Tennessee, or it was teachers from high schools in Tennessee about the promise and about like why they should have cybersecurity programs.
Yeah.
So it was very
Hmm.
cool.
yeah. I was gonna say, I feel Kathy, when you tried to do that at the high school in North
Yeah.
Carolina, I was gonna say, I don't know, maybe it's just I kind of felt like it was the teachers who didn't really like think it was that like big of a thing, maybe. So that's why kind of the kids didn't really want to get involved, you know?
Yeah, I think that teachers these days have been really overwhelmed between the mix of a pandemic and
Yeah.
all the dynamics that have been happening in schools, um, and just keeping up with probably changing curriculum as well. But I do feel that um, there is movement, there is collective movement happening to give these teachers the resources to be successful teaching cybersecurity. There's an organization I wanted to talk about is cyber.org. They actually developed a K through 12 curriculum for teachers. So there's teaching guides and all kinds of stuff. So if you ever run into more high school teachers, let them know about cyber.org because that's their purpose is
Yeah,
to make cybersecurity part of the curriculum.
I'll definitely have to check on it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So what kind of kid were you? Sounds like you were into the computer sciences stuff, but anything else? Any other color?
So I guess growing up, I was always kind of into computers. I was someone who was also very I would say creative. So I would try to like I'd see what computers could do and I'd be like, okay, they're meant for this. What else can I do with them? Um And so it was always trying to find a different use. Sometimes it wouldn't be very useful, but it was just, hey, this is a different use for different technologies. So
Is that what kind of drew you into cybersecurity? All the different kind of things you can do, or
yeah, so I guess what really drew me in was after I started learning about cybersecurity, I wanted to learn a little bit more. So I started watching DEF CON videos
Oh,
online. And from the ones that I could understand that didn't have as technical lingo from the conversations, they were all talking about, hey, what we do is we look at cyber or security and technology products, and we try to figure out, okay, that's cool how it works there. What else can we do with it? And that really drew me in. So
nice, awesome.
yeah.
So, what I guess domain or area in cybersecurity are you particularly interested in, if you know?
so I would say, I guess in the future, what I really want to do is offensive penetration testing is the area that I'm looking at. To me, at least right now, that just sounds the most fun.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, absolutely. As you continue on in your career, who knows, you could definitely potentially just stumble upon another area that draws your attention. That was kind of like, I mean, I'm 22 now, but when I was your age, I was kind of maybe when I was 20, I was kind of a little lost. But then when I kind of started to get internships and stuff, it helps you narrow down a little bit, you know?
yeah, that's definitely the process, and
Yeah.
I know that as I go through the process, things may change. I'm all open for it. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So, what did you do in high school and college that kind of was helping you with cybersecurity? Like what classes and stuff in college? And is that your actual major, cybersecurity, or is it computer science or something
It's
like that?
to answer that, it's information technology with a focus in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and starting so after I watched those DEF CON videos in around junior year, that was over the summer. I was like, okay, I'm going to join this club. Unfortunately, well, I guess it could be unfortunately then. We were living in California, moved senior year to North Carolina. Um, and for the North Carolina, for their cybersecurity, they had an actual class you could take, which sounded very cool. Um,
This is high school?
this is high school, yes.
Wow.
But for that class, you needed to get teachers from the school to sign off that you were like a good student because they didn't want to teach people all these hacking tricks and then them be terrorizing the school. Um, so I then learned quickly after that those same students started a club, mostly just that way them and their friends can say, hey, I had a club in high school, so for college.
Mhm.
So joined the club, and it was very basic. It was, hey, okay, everyone, bring in your laptop. They showed us what a virtual machine was. They showed us this amazing platform called Pico CTF, which is being run by Carnegie Mellon University. That hosts just a bunch of different cybersecurity challenges on it, and they said, and go after it. It was me and then one of my friends from California. I told them about the opportunity, and I said, hey, I know you're kind of looking at this. If we're going to do this, let's do it now. So like every day we do around 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours
Wow.
of on the site. We got to like, I think top 200 on the site. And we learned a lot along the way. So
Yeah, I could imagine. That sounds really cool. I mean, that is awesome that you got to start in high school. I
Mhm.
had like no direction when I was in high school. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do. So it's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then were there like any teachers or anyone when you in high school or college that kind of played a big role in some of your decisions with your career path? Like for example, the teachers who had to accept you in order for you to be in that club.
so for the actual club, you didn't need to be accepted. That was kind of the loophole that I found. For the class, you needed to be.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah,
meant.
exactly.
Yes.
In college, I had a few teachers who were ethical hacking instructors that they when we'd go through the class and they would teach it and everything. I would constantly be asking them questions, and they were like, "Hey, Anthony, you have like not necessarily like you understand this. You should keep pursuing this, keep going for it." And they gave me some more useful like certification routes I could take. So I'm very grateful for that.
So
Nice.
tell us about your college then, where you attended.
Yeah, so ECPI University is a technical school. They have a really cool program where it's 2.5 years for your bachelor's, but that is full time schooling. So I had a couple days off for summer. You get
Wow.
you get Thanksgiving Day off. You don't get any other days around there.
Okay.
But that really did help me just as kind of with the workforce schedule and how you don't have huge summer
Mhm.
break. Um, and another really cool thing about it is a lot of the people going in, I didn't realize this as I was, I guess, applying, but when I got into my classes, majority of the people were actually military veterans who were going in because that's they're really advertising to them. So the age range, it was me being 20 years old, and then a lot of people who were in their 30s, right? My classmates. So when we get on calls with them, they had their kids in the background. It was it was a really unique opportunity.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that they were open to all types of individuals from all walks of life, backgrounds, because
Yeah.
that's how you learn probably better.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say. So, I mean, you and I were both in school during the pandemic, so I'm going to
Mhm.
assume that you had online classes for a majority of time.
Yes.
Yeah, I never had that like interaction really with other students, and this past semester, I actually had a few veterans who were in my classes, and I actually became friends with one of them. I would talk to him like after class and stuff, and just like he was just talking about all his experiences and all that stuff, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so for my school to technically say that we were on campus, it would be so classes are also 5 weeks long. So they're very quick. You only have
Mhm.
2 classes per 5 week term, but for one day, for at least one day out of that term, you go into class and you check in on the computer. Some people just leave afterwards, but I like to stay there, and then there would be me, and then the group of people that would be going through the program with me, and we'd all talk, we'd all collaborate and stuff. So it was good.
That's really good. That's awesome. I'd never heard of that program, but that sounds like a really good one. So we're so your teachers, your advisors, how are they helping you now? Because you completed this whole program, right? So are they kind of helping you break into cybersecurity?
So at the very end of my course at UCPI, they have a course that's for students where you meet with your advisors and they go through your resume, they go through the interview process. Um, Initially, when I had finished my that course, I was still enrolled in my internship. So they had checked me off the list of people that needed additional work help. But now that
Mhm.
since my internship ended, um, I'm starting to reconnect with them, and they're providing additional support.
So that's interesting. How did you get an internship?
So I got an internship through ECPI,
Oh,
which is
okay.
great. Um, it was initially I wanted to get more experience outside of school. So I was looking. They have IT jobs directly through the school. So I was looking at that. There weren't any openings because there's only around. I think they only accept 2 students. So
Mhm.
there's students that were ahead in the program, so they were accepted. So I was okay. What else could I do? So I started looking. Um, they brought up to me, hey, there's a help desk internship at a small e-commerce company, and would you be interested? I said, yeah, sure. Interviewed with them, fell in love with the company, and I'm very happy that I was brought on board as
Yeah.
a help desk intern. Yeah.
So a lot of people, old school cybersecurity folks, who pay their dues going through the help desk route, they say that that's a really good experience because you learn a lot of stuff across the board. What's your take on that?
I definitely see why they say that, and I definitely learned a lot about just company infrastructure,
Mhm.
how businesses run, and what like how security fits into that.
Yeah.
Um, However, I feel now there's so many different online learning resources and training resources that someone who is right out of school can learn all of that on the side
Hmm.
well enough to fulfill a job in cybersecurity.
Yeah. I like that perspective. So you and we met at ISSA a few months ago. It's been a while. It may have even been almost a year because you and we were both still studying, I think, for the Security Plus, weren't we?
We were,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I,
So how did you get into the ISSA? And let's talk about your Security Plus then.
so I got into ISSA through that internship.
Ah,
Um, so with the group that I was with, the IT team there was very, very small. So there's three other guys. So we're all very close. They were like, hey, you're into security. Why don't you go to the ISSA meetings? We used to go when it was Thursdays, and then they switched it to Wednesdays. Now they
yeah.
switched it back to Thursdays.
Yes.
But I was like, sure, I'll go. And then I remember the first time there, I was petrified. Didn't really know like how to really talk to anyone.
Mhm.
So I just stayed with my boss, right? And I was just kind of like taking it all in. It was a really fun experience still, but that was January
Mhm.
of last year. And then it was the second time I went, he was talking to someone else over in the corner and they had all the seats taken. So I took a breath, put on my big boy pants, and went in and started talking to people. I believe that is actually when me and you met, Kathy.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. Very possible because I think I complete my Security Plus in March, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. So tell us about your Security Plus.
So my Security Plus, it was so through ECPI they offer different certifications that you can take that align with certain classes. So we have an introduction to cybersecurity class along with some other classes that once you take them, you could talk to your advisor, say, hey, I want to take the Security Plus. You then
Mhm.
get access to a portal that has different study materials on it, along with these practice tests. If you take all the practice tests, you get a voucher. So I didn't have to pay anything for it, thank God. And then they also act as a testing site, so it was all nice doing it right there, and I passed it. So
High five.
yeah,
Awesome. That's
thank you.
really great that they give you those resources because Antonio, you and we were talking about your school doing something along those lines, and I don't think they did that, did they?
No,
Yeah.
no.
And the Security Plus certification is really something that, I mean, it's one of those words that they put in the search engines of the LinkedIn's of the world to see if you have at least that. I feel like that's one of the most commonly asked for entry level analysts, I would think, right?
Yeah, right after I put that on my LinkedIn page, I noticed a significant increase in traffic. Um, so
I could imagine. That's literally like the first thing I want to do when I'm done with school.
yeah,
Is
it's
that
great certification.
Yeah. And it's a good fundamental knowledge, right? It's not something that you just can archive and forget about it. It's really good stuff to keep learning on. So
Yeah,
congratulations. That's really cool.
thank you so much.
So Antonio came with me to InfoSecon. I think I crossed paths with you there as well. How was that?
We did briefly. It was a great experience. That was, I want to say, my first conference I went to.
Me
Is
too.
what, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. It was fun seeing a lot of people. I mostly was doing the CTF competition. So I would come out intermediately when I got stuck on a problem, and I came across and I saw your guys' booth. Um, I run around to a few other booths, and then I'd go right back in. So it was a great time.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Did they do more CTF competitions like that outside of InfoSecon, or do you recommend anything?
So I highly recommend doing some sort of CTF competitions or doing gamified learning through Try Hack Me, Hack the Box. The one big website that I would recommend, ctftime.org. It is a website that's basically the hub for all these different CTF competitions. You can go to the upcoming tab. There's one every weekend. You'll join there. You'll meet people. That's how I met people that I'm with now. My little team. But yeah,
What
it's
was the
great.
website again? CTF.
Time.org.
Thank you.
I could put it in the private chat.
Okay. Thank you. So my next question, sorry, Kathy, go ahead.
Yep, you're up.
Okay. So I was going to say my next question was going to be is what are some of the challenges that you think you would face now trying to get a job within cybersecurity?
So when I got out of school, it was December 13th, around there. And that's when I started looking for jobs. Hard time of year for a lot of companies that are looking, because especially for new graduate positions, they're looking more in the springtime when more people finish.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that was definitely something that I had to face. Another thing too is that for a lot of these positions that are at least listed on LinkedIn, on Indeed, places like that, some of the requirements for entry into even these junior level positions.
Crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. They want years worth of experience. They want you to know all these different programming languages. They want you to have all these intermediate level certifications. They want like OSCP. They want CEH. They want these certifications that if you got those, you'd probably get a higher level job than what is required.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like sometimes I'll just be like laying in bed at night. I'll just like how on LinkedIn they have like the little tab in the bottom. You could just see all the. I'll just like scroll through and read, and I'm like, how the hell is this an entry level position?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
So the thing that I was talking to my dad and to other people that go to the ISSA, and they're like, hey, when you see those, just don't even care about those. Just apply anyway. Worst thing they can do is just say, sorry, you're not fit for the position.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then otherwise you can show them why they should pick you. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know this Gary big on social media? What's his last name again?
Gary V.
Yes.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah.
Do you know him, Anthony?
Not off the top of my head.
I feel like if you see a picture, you would definitely.
Yeah.
He's like some like NFT guy, and
yeah, he's just a very entrepreneurial person who
I know. Okay, I know exactly.
Shares, who kind of shares his experience, vision, and really helps young people to find their way and kind of motivates them, coaches them. The one thing that he was sharing in one of these video clips was apply multiple times. Don't just accept no for an answer the first go around. Sometimes there's a human error in the process. Sometimes it's just bias, but the next time they look at your resume, they may say, hey, yeah, why not? So keep trying. One of the people that I interviewed before, Devon Carter, he had applied 16 times for his first job. So they interviewed him solely to tell him to stop applying for the job. But then he swayed them to give him a chance.
No way.
Yes.
That is
So
awesome.
That's great.
persistence is a quality of, especially in the pen testing space, right? This
Yeah.
shows you your tenacity and your way around the problem. So don't be shy.
Yeah, I saw also there was a video from someone it was an AWS security person who worked in the security space was being interviewed, and they were talking about how they would apply just to get put into their internal databases,
Oh, clever.
and how there's a lot of times when big companies, IBM, Google,
Mhm.
when they are looking, they'll search their internal database before making a post online. They'll say, okay, yeah, this person already tried to apply for this position, and their
Yeah.
keywords could be, okay, graduate, oh, security plus, okay, yeah, let's put them on. So
Mhm.
that's another thing too.
I was gonna say for my first internship that I had, my boss there told me, so like if you're reading the what's it called? I'm blank. Like the description or application, they'll say like some of the qualities they're looking for, right? So if you put that in your resume, that he was saying most of the time it's like an automated filter that these companies use to look for those keywords to like put your resume on top if you have them in. So putting in those keywords definitely also helps a lot.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keywords is big. I've also seen people being very creative, making a portfolio of beyond the resume, right? So having recommendation letters from teachers, former employers, friends, whoever, right? And then also, I've seen someone actually creating like a PowerPoint showing the things that they have done and putting that on their LinkedIn profile. Or just doing video streaming stuff and recording it and just adding it to your profile. I guess it's all about being recognized in various ways, different media. Yeah, you have to be creative these days. You know that
It's funny you say that, Kathy, because last week that happened to me for the first time when I reposted the Kelsey podcast. I got a message, and I guess it was like put in a separate box of my LinkedIn because I wasn't connected, and it was some gentleman basically like reaching out to me saying like, oh, I was reading some of your posts, and in this one you had this little typo, blah blah blah. So I reached out to him and I was like, thank you so much, I really appreciate it, like not many people do that, blah blah blah. And he was saying like, I really want you to succeed in this field, like we need younger people to be successful. I was like so caught off guard, and he was like, yeah, that basically summed it up, and I connected with him. But I was like, you're a really nice guy, the world needs more people like you.
Yes, yes. But the people at ISSA, they've got your back. So keep going to these networking events, seeing who you are, your effort, your participation, your active investment in your education. They will notice. Also, they're going to start giving free classes to get your CISSP. I know that's kind of not necessarily something you want to get right away, but free education,
Free education. Yeah. Sounds
why
great.
not?
It
Yeah,
does
I
sound
may
great.
join you too because that may be my next certification. I think I'm nuts to even think that, but why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
So Anthony, does purpose matter to you in this field? Like for example, what drew me to this field at first was kind of like stopping the bad guy. Like when I was younger, I always wanted to be a police officer or something like that. So I guess that would kind of be my purpose. Do you have any like that?
Yeah, exactly. The reason I wanted to come into this field, something I guess about me, I love helping people. I love also being able to teach knowledge that I have to someone else. That's something I find myself doing a lot. So I feel like in cybersecurity, based on I guess my technical, I guess like know-how, I can best be able to help people and best be able to help businesses, and yeah.
Maybe you could teach other kids in high school too, start multiple clubs. Maybe this is something that we can do together.
Do together, I was gonna say.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
At ECPI University, when I was there, they had an ethical hacking club, and I was like, hey, I'm very interested. They said, oh, we don't have a president right now. I said, okay, I can do it. So for a brief time, I was the interim president, and that was a great time. I tried to just do like fun labs and stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Kathy, this would be like perfect for trying to get involved with the high school and stuff.
Yeah. And have you heard of the Patriot program?
The Patriot program. Let me.
So this is focused on high schools where they run these similar to what you did, the CTF kind of competitions, but this is on a national scale, and it's funded by the government and some of the large companies that are in the defense space. So the Air Force and some of their partners are funding this. And so to run a high school Patriot program, you need someone to kind of be the teacher, the mentor, in order to kind of run them. But that could be something you could start to if
that sounds like a really fun opportunity.
Yeah, I'll share some resources with you, but it's also on the Triangle Net, I think under some of the learning resources associations or competitions. I think I put it in there.
Great. Yeah.
Awesome.
So my next question, because this is kind of an interesting topic nowadays, what is your take on like some of the cybercrime that goes on nowadays and some of the trends and things like that?
So something that was really cool that I got to, I guess, like segueing into this, something that was really cool I got to do at ECPI was we had a humanities class, and I got to write about cybercrime in Eastern Europe. And about how there's a real big connection between education and rates of cybercrime, and it's really a thing where I try to tell this to those teachers where students, like with the internet, they're going to be exposed to malicious techniques and malicious learning, and it's up to teachers to meet them there first and say, hey,
Yeah.
this is like not how things are supposed to be done. And I feel like with cybercrime, it's constantly growing. And now it's becoming more organized than ever. They're running them like actual businesses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy to me to think about. And something that it came out a little while ago, probably maybe 4 months ago. But it's still kind of in my head, is about how a lot of these threat actors online, they are asking in like Telegram and in different channels, they're messaging people, hey, I saw your LinkedIn. I know you work for this company. You just have to give me your VPN credentials, and then you can deny everything. We'll send you like 50 grand, and then they get in that way. So it's just one of those. It's very scary to see how organized these criminals are.
Yeah.
This dude emails me probably twice a month saying like, hello, Antonio, I have a special opportunity for you. I got your email for LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
You could do better.
Yeah. Just blocking.
Yeah.
But it's so true that even younger people are being extorted from the things that they do online and through social media, and that they think may be private, it really isn't. And so they're being caught in awkward situations, and they're being blackmailed to do certain things. And they are the back door to many, corporate employees and nobody would know better, right?
Yeah, and that's just increases the importance of having zero trust and
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, I know this person wouldn't do it, but let's just make sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Do you have an idea of what kind of company you would like to work for?
As of right now, I guess the only thing that company, I want to just get cross training or training with people who are, I guess, higher level. That's the
Yeah.
real big thing that I'm looking
Mhm.
for right now. Um, I mean, things like working for the government sounds cool, but that's just something that may come down the line. So,
Yeah, that leads to my next question. I was going to say, what is kind of like your bigger dream or your long-term goal? Would it be like working for the government or like a big bank or something like that?
I would say my long-term goal, is more so to be in a position where I'm either in a highly skilled, like technical role, where I can be a leader to others and I can provide, I guess, either technical insight or provide training. That's where I see myself eventually in the future.
So you could become a professor.
You read my mind. You read I was gonna say like even some of my professors now, like my professor in my programming class, young woman, very cool girl. She's like 30, but she has her day job. I think she's a programmer, and then she would come in and teach the class once or twice a week later in the day. That's what she would do. Yeah. So like
That's
that could be perfect for you too if you're interested in that.
Yeah, there's someone who's one of my role models. He works during daytimes. He works at NASA and he's on their SOC, and then he also teaches part time at ECPI doing the ethical hacking stuff. So that to me sounds like a really fun kind of combination. Is working either in working at some sort of sector, either civilian, government, and then while doing that, eventually start being able to teach.
Yeah. What about a consulting kind of a company where they
Uh,
would just send you to all different companies and
yeah, I really haven't looked into that as much.
okay.
I feel like, at least me personally right now, I feel that's something I could see myself doing further down the line when I have the
Mhm.
technical know-how.
Yeah. Well, don't underestimate that they may hire junior role analysts or testers to kind of do part of the pen testing job. So the scope of work of a pen test may include OSINT, may include social engineering, may include vulnerability scanning, and then they take it to the next level.
Makes sense.
And they may delegate that work to someone like you, a more junior person, but at the same time you're learning side by side with the more senior pen tester to do all kinds of other stuff. So take a look at some of these consulting organizations who do this for everybody in the world, right? So plus I think you can do that remotely very often, so you're not necessarily bound to a particular geography too. You never know. We'll put that out there in the universe. Maybe they'll hear this
Yeah.
podcast and say, hey, this Anthony kid sounds pretty clever.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yes.
So, who are some of your role models within cybersecurity and just in general?
I would say, in general, I would have to say my parents. They help push me through, and when I'm going through, I guess, growing up, if there's something that I didn't want to do and I was kind of pushing back on it, my parents were like, hey, there's a reason you're pushing back, dive right in. And
Wow.
now I try to do it. I try to do that more to some extent. And I could be doing it more. That's something. I would say, in cybersecurity space, people like John Hammond are a really big influence. Maybe Malware Tech is his name.
Mm.
He was one of the people who, when the WannaCry ransomware came out, he was the one
Yes.
who discovered and helped take it offline. He was one of the big people. I'm in the process of trying to eventually create a website for myself where I can kind of showcase some of the projects and then some write-ups on things I'm just working on to show people, hey, I may not be posting certifications on LinkedIn right now, but I'm still doing things.
Like, this is what I'm up to. And yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly.
I know exactly who you're talking about. It's this curly-haired kid
Correct. Yes.
who found the kill switch for WannaCry. He was caught red-handed with his
Marcus
hands.
Hutchins is his
Yeah,
name.
there
Yes.
you go. He was caught with his hands in the cookie jar at some point, but I think that he kind of learned from that. I mean, he's a young kid, so it's so easy to be sidetracked and being pulled into the wrong direction. And I think that that apprehension by these high schools that we were talking about not having these programs is the fear that they're going to create the future hackers, the future bad hackers of the world. But at the end of the day, they're actually creating more of a problem than anything else.
Yeah. I guess the other thing too is like if teachers aren't going to teach it, social media will teach it, and possibly from a bad angle. There's a device that I have right now. I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's a thing called a Flipper Zero. Is this thing? I can't really see it. There's a little dolphin on it.
Cool.
And basically, it is a little kind of. I think they market it as a cybersecurity Swiss Army knife. You can do things. It's got a an RF receiver in it. It's got some so you can like clone keys onto it. But there's some people are using. They has an infrared remote in it, so you could potentially turn off your TV. And there's videos online of teens who have this device who are being nefarious with it, and they'll go around like a TV store. They'll go around like Target, and they'll turn off all the TVs. And they got since it's got a card
You can't
scanner.
make this up. You can't make this up.
Yeah,
You
that
can
is
like
so predictable.
yeah, there's like a Dave and Buster's like card you can download. You can download this stuff online, so you have like an unlimited card on it. But there's like more people. Like these videos get like hundreds of thousands of views, and people are seeing this at such a young age and like, oh, that's cool, and that's like the life. You know what I mean? They get like a false view of the lifestyle, and then they do something that they end up regretting, and that's
One thing
something
leads to another, and
exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. So now for, I guess, my favorite part is your question to one of us.
Okay. I guess my question is going to be for you, Antonio. So going through school, if there was one particular class that you wish your school offered, what would it be and why? That would help you in cybersecurity.
That's an excellent question.
I would say a class that connects the business aspect to the cybersecurity aspect, that connect it together. I think that would be a game changer, honestly, because like most people, like they graduate college knowing, I know C++, I know Java, I know Python, I know this and that. And they go get a job, but they don't know they don't know the connection between business and, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would definitely say that, or it doesn't even have to be its own class about that. In a class, add that to the curriculum or something,
Yeah. I think that just kind of pushes the need for like having internships throughout college.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
so through my school, one of the great things is that they have an internship class that you end up taking. So they help you secure an internship for at least 5 weeks. And you have a certain amount of hours per week and you talk about it. And so they give you at least a little bit of a splash of what I guess what life is like out in the real world. So.
It sounds like such a great school and program.
It does.
Like really, my hat goes off to them. What would you say to your own question? Do you have an answer to your own question?
So I would have to say, exactly like what you were saying, where it's business related class, but I would have it for, sort of a class that talks about, okay, you get your first job, now what? And teaching you different ways of how you can build your career and which kind of ways, depending on where you want to go, like how you can move within a company and different ways to talk to, I guess, supervisors, things like that. The soft skills, I guess, more so.
Yeah, again, that's just like another thing that with an internship it'll come, but not everyone is able to get one, you know?
Exactly.
Well, some amazing insights that you shared, great perspectives. No doubt in my mind that you will land your next job real fast. And whoever's hiring you is very lucky. 'Cause-
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, because you're working so hard. You have such strong focus, so resourceful, and already you're willing to help others in the process, like attending this podcast. So thank you for being so gracious and sharing your perspective, your experience thus far. And hopefully we can help you get into your next job, make lots of money, but also a great experience so that you can make a difference in the world. The world needs more people like you for sure. So you keep doing what you do, and we'll try to help you as much as possible. And just as an FYI, the trianglenet.com has lots of resources for students, professionals from all different perspectives, even teachers who want to start their own program in high school. So
That's great. Thank you guys for having me on here. It was really fun.
Of course, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us.
Yeah.
fantastic. Thanks, Anthony.